Laguna Niguel homeowners, here's your April 2025 market update looking back at March real estate in Laguna Niguel in about 1 to 2 minutes. The number of homes currently on the market in the city of Laguna Niguel is up slightly from last month. Today we have an average of 164 properties on the market in the city of Laguna Niguel, up from about 146 last month, and that was 112 last year at this time. As for days on market, we have seen a slight increase from the previous month, which today has an average of about 37, and last month that number was 33 days. What that indicates is a slightly slower market and homes taking just a few more days on average to sell. And that number is up from this time last year, which was 25 days on market on average, but we still have a very active market in the city of Laguna Niguel. One of the most important indicators I rely on to determine the speed and strength of the market is what we call absorption rate, or the number of months of supply. We currently have 3.4 months of supply in the city of Laguna Niguel, which is up from last month at 2.8 months of supply. And absorption rate is definitely linked to average days on market. The main reason for both averages of days on market and market absorption rate to be higher is because of the increased inventory level that we have and the available homes that are currently on the market. Although the months of supply and days on market have increased, we still have a slightly bias towards being a seller's market. The typical belief is that somewhere between 4 to 6 months is a balanced market. So when we see inventory numbers of levels of supply below 4 months, we're still in that area of being a seller's market. Another statistic that I often look at, as you know, is the dollar per square foot paid for properties that are selling. The all-time peak for dollar per square foot on average for the city of Laguna Niguel, all sales included, was September of 2024. So last year, September, with $800 per square foot being paid for homes that sold on average. I use this as a gauge for our current market. We're running very close to peak levels for the beginning of the year with $782 per foot in March, which is down just slightly from $784 per foot in February this year, and up sharply from March of 2024, a whopping 6.5%, which was $734 per foot last year at this time. This tremendous appreciation in just 1 year in the city of Laguna Niguel. For those of you who own homes, congratulations. If you still haven't purchased, it looks like prices are still holding strong, not dropping, even with a slight increase of inventory. Another statistic I'm watching closely right now are the new listings hitting the market each month. Last month, there were 80 new listings in the city of Laguna Niguel. That was almost even with February at 82. And January at 80. So you're seeing a consistent number of new listings, 80, 82, and 80. If you're comparing it to March of 2024, ironically, there were also 80 new listings for the month 1 year ago at this time. In April of 2024, there were 91 new listings. So that was a little peak there, or a little increase there to hit the market. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens April of this year. When it comes to average sales price in the city of Laguna Niguel for the month of March, the average sales price was $1,600,000. Although this was a drop from the previous month of February this year, $1,888,000, it is almost identical to March of 2024, where the average sales price was $1,683,000. Now, this does not speak about values going up or down. It strictly speaks about the homes that are currently selling. Prices for sales on average remain very flat from last March through September of 2024. We then saw some volatility in the market where the average sales price dropped in October of 24 to $1,378,000 and bounced around quite a bit, which only indicates the average sales price fluctuated and not the dollar per square foot or values. So the question I'm asked all the time, Are homes selling? The answer is absolutely yes. In March, there were 100 properties sold in the city of Laguna Niguel, compared to March of 2024, where there were 118. So we did have a slight drop in the total of units, but it is still a very respectable number of monthly sales. Keep in mind, our peak months of sales every year seems to be June. In June of 2024, there were 142 homes sold in the city of Laguna Niguel. Keep watching my monthly market updates because it'll be interesting to see where we end up in the city of Laguna Niguel for June of 2025 in just a few months. You know, something I haven't spoken about very much in the past is our list to sales price ratio. What that means is how close to the list price did the actual selling price come. While last month the average list to sales price ratio was 98.4%. If you're a buyer, you want to remember that statistic to understand what kind of a discount on average you may expect. If you're a seller, you may want to keep that number in mind because it'll let you know how much you need to negotiate on average your price when it comes to negotiation. Now, every property is different, but the average for last month was 98.4, pretty healthy, compared to February, where the list to the sales price ratio was 99.0. If we look back 1 year ago in March of 2024, the list to sales price ratio was 99.6. These numbers seem to be very consistent, reflecting about a 1 to 2% negotiating margin on price. Now, exceptional properties are still experiencing multiple offers and overpriced sales. One of my personal listings last month closed for 13.4% over asking price, and we did not underprice it. The asking price was $2,650,000, and because of multiple offers, we were able to achieve a sales price of $2,682,000. That's a whopping 13.4% higher than asking price. Now, the property was exceptional, and we set a high price, but what we're seeing is that exceptional properties are still commanding that kind of sales price. It set a neighborhood record for sales price and dollar per square foot paid. Our sellers are thrilled. And for that matter, so were the buyers because they were able to beat out the other competition and actually secure the property. For a deeper understanding of the market, please have a conversation with me. I'm happy to connect. My number is 949-584-4466. Randy R. with Berkshire Hathaway, changing lives, one home at a time.